What is good? Look at
Yo,
Greg. Boy, look at Greg.
my apologies, guys. Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back. We are on episode 6, I believe, of our rebrand. As you guys know, we used to be called 352 Sports Talk. Now we're called 352 Blitz. So give us a follow everywhere on TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. It's all the same 352 Blitz. 352 Blitz, like I said. All one word, should be pretty easy to find. We appreciate all the support and everything. But without further ado, let's go to get into it. So as most football fans, obviously everybody here, we all saw it too as well. But most football fans saw that Jalen Hurts got an extension today. You know, really, really big deal. I'm going to read the details really, really quick. So it was a 5-year, $255 million contract. Um, which makes him the highest paid player in NFL history. Usually big time players, get a contract that kind of makes them the highest paid in history, though. And it is 110 fully guaranteed at signing, which is the third most ever, and then $126 million fully guaranteed before. All right, we all know the fully guaranteed at signing, fully guaranteed at year 2 or 3, whatever in the contract, are two completely different things, right?
Yep.
So let's go initial thoughts. Start with you, Eddie. What you think about that extension? Do you think he deserved it and whatnot? Hear your thoughts.
So my thoughts is that yes, he deserved it. Let's start with that. First of all, I think that this is just a great deal for Jalen Hurts and for the Eagles because they're getting they had their franchise QB. He was already proven a guy. He was in the MVP running last year. He took them to the Super Bowl, but they didn't win, right? But they have all the pieces around him. They can easily be in the Super Bowl for the next 3-4 years, and the deal works out well for them. He got a great deal with the guaranteed money, which is the third most overall. And overall, I'm happy. The reason I'm mostly happy is because Jalen Hurts is my dynasty QB. So I'm set at QB for the next 7 years. You know what I'm saying? No complaints in that area. But I think the deal is great. I think the deal is great. I think this is what he deserves, and it's the type of deal that we're gonna see Justin Herbert get signed, and same with Joe Burrow. It's gonna be very similar to that. It's not gonna be something crazy, and he's the most paid quarterback of all time, and then his overall guaranteed money is the third best, which is exactly where I think I measure him at.
Yeah.
What about you?
Follow up question, really, really quick. Do you think with Jalen Hurts' play style, the way he is, the way he plays, do you think that made a factor into why you only got 5 years to like usually the 8-year contract for franchise QBs or 7-year contract?
Um, I don't think it's that. I think that the Eagles. You got to remember the Eagles. The way that they turned around that losing season in like 2018 or whatever year it was that they had a losing record. Look at how they turned their team around. You know what I'm saying? They have that draft capital, that they have that cap space to be able to flip the team and make it good as it is. So I think that they made it 5 years. That way, he gets a player option after the fourth or whatever, and then they're able to play around with the cap in order to sign players to make the team better, whether it's offensively or defensively. I don't think that the playing style has anything to do with it. Yes, he runs quite a bit for the touchdowns and all that. But first, the first thing that they did, they already removed the whole tuck. What are the little when he runs behind the offensive lineman and they push him forward for whatever reason, they already made that illegal. And I'm sure that the Eagles here are going to take a great running back in the first round, so they're going to limit the time that he runs because he's going to be the franchise quarterback. They have to protect him.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Jay Butt, what were your initial thoughts on the signing? Do you think he's worth all that money? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's definitely worth the contract. Actually, I feel like worked out for both parties. Just kind of following up on what I'd said because he kind of hit the nail on the head with that. It sets them up for the next few years to still have money to put pieces around him, keep pieces that are there. So honestly, I think it was a great deal. Um, Hopefully, I don't want to get into it too much, but I was big on Lamar sticking out on that fully guaranteed, but I think he's going to start to realize like what the market is and what he needs to do based off of Jalen's deal. Justin coming up next as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
And
kind of
Burrow.
glad you bought. And Burrow, yeah, Burrow and Herbert do for the
I think
contracts.
Burrow's going to get the biggest deal. I feel like.
Really.
You don't think so?
I think he'll get the most just because Cincinnati haven't had a quarterback like this, you know what I'm saying, in a long time. He's Mr. Ohio.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's Mr. Ohio. He's
and this far he's been the main rival for Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he's 4-1 versus Mahomes. He's the only one has been able to beat him multiple times, other than last year in the playoffs, of course, but they were able to, to do it. So I think he will be the most paid. I think Herbert's going to be slightly above Hurts, and I think it'll be Hurts, and then we'll see where Lamar signs, like, what contract he signs. He'll be up there too. I think Lamar is going to end up being like a top 5 quarterback paid wise. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be Burrow, either Hurts, not Hurts, either, what's his name? Burrow, Herbert, Lamar, Hurts, and then Mahomes. I think that's going to be like.
You think Lamar's going to get more than Hurts?
Yeah.
So we'll dive into that now if you guys are cool with it. So today they actually came out with the contract that the Ravens actually offered. What they offered Lamar, and so we're looking at a side-by-side comparison of Jalen Hurts' deal with the Eagles and the Ravens offer with Lamar Jackson. So the total value for Jalen Hurts was $255 million. Lamar Jackson was $250. The fully guaranteed money, which is the main problem that Lamar Jackson has, with the contract. So Jalen Hurts got 110, while Lamar Jackson got 133 million. So that's already $23 million more. And just think about it, if Hurts is has the third best guaranteed money of all time at 133, significantly a lot better. And then the total guaranteed money. So overall, with the additions of all the guarantees and how many games you played, and if you don't get hurt, all those guaranteed monies, a little incentives. If by incentives, Jalen Hurts only gets $179.3 million. I don't know what happened to Justin, but while Lamar Jackson gets a fully $200 million guaranteed contract. Well, $200 million contract guaranteed with all the incentives and everything like that. And so I think that everybody, and I'm speaking about myself as well. When the first contract with the first smoke came out, everybody was just focused on the $133 million, but we're not talking about the other $77 million that's available for him to get, But unfortunately, he didn't. Nobody's talking about that, and I think that's something that we need to talk about because it's $133 million guaranteed right now that you get on your paycheck. But then what about the other $77 million? So you're talking about a $200 million contract guaranteed out of the $250 million. So this is where I don't know. Like, this is where I see maybe he needs an agent because I don't think that he's fully understanding what a contract is. Because it's not only the $133 million that guaranteed, you're also forgetting the other $77 million or whatever it is in the contract, or $67 million in the contract, right? So I think that Lamar needs an agent just because the contract that he signed it's not bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad at all. It's a third overall most guaranteed right now money, and then $200 million of it out of the 250 is guaranteed. So essentially, he's just playing around with the $50 million that's not guaranteed. I don't know. So what do you think? Look, you're a Ravens fan, Greg. What do you think about now when you see Jalen Hurts get this type of contract? It's less than what Lamar Jackson got. Do you think that he messed up? Do you think that he deserved more, or that the contract was exactly where it should be?
First off, I'm gonna start with the first part of your question with Jalen Hurts getting his contract. I'm happy for him, and I'm also glad that another team kind of like bought back, the QB market back down to earth. You know what I mean? Because the Browns messed it up for everybody, right? Especially for the Ravens and Lamar situation. I'm kind of glad that. I mean, I hope that Lamar sees the fact that the offer that Jalen Hurts got was reasonable. He got what he
Yeah.
was worth. I don't think it was overpaid. I don't think it was underpaid. I think that contract that Jalen Hurts got was beautiful. It was perfect, right? And I hope that Lamar sees that those type of offers are the most realistic type of offers because when you talk about Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, both top 10, top 7 QBs in the league, right? And they deserve to get paid like top 7 QBs in the league, right? So I think that this offer would kind of just bring Lamar Jackson back to earth just a little bit, and I think that Burrow and Herbert getting their money will nail it home. You know what I mean? Especially since like Lamar Jackson is just being stupid right now, trying to demand players, demanding them, to trade for DeAndre Hopkins, and signing Odell Beckham to that ridiculous, insane contract. Still crazy to me. But yeah, I'm to answer your question. Yeah, I'm glad that Jalen Hurts got his contract, and I'm hopefully that contract brings Lamar Jackson back down to earth, and he understands that he's getting what he's getting offered right now is beautiful for him. He needs to take that. And I agree with you, Eddie. I think the agent, I think he needs to stop being stubborn and stop saying he can do everything himself because you can't. You can't. And I think this might be the last time the Ravens offer Lamar. You know what I mean? Especially now in the sense that he got the contract offered to him today, and he's sitting out, those workouts right now. You know what I mean? I don't think it's OT. I think it's just like voluntary workouts. But yeah. J Butt, what's your thoughts on that Lamar contract? What do you think?
I was actually super busy today. Or were you saying they put out an offer to him again today?
So it
Yeah.
wasn't an offer again. It was an offer that was originally sent out. The reason that people are saying that the reason that people are saying that it was a new offer sent out is because people don't understand how to read contracts. And Obed was one of them explaining it to us. Is like people were just focused on the $133 million guaranteed money of the contract, but there was still another $77 million that he could have earned as well with incentives. So you're talking about if he completes all those incentives, you're talking about a $200 million contract and not a 133 million only guaranteed. So you're talking about out of the 250 million dollar contract, 200 of it is guaranteed. If he doesn't, all the other incentives, if you play this much, if you don't get hurt, if you throw this much touchdowns, you know how every contract has that. But only people are only focused on the overall $133 million when the contract itself was a $250 million contract. So that's why when people put it out today, they were like, "Oh, they just offered that." No, they didn't just offer that. That was the offer the whole time. But people were just forgetting the rest of the $77 million 77 million the rest of the contract. So they wasn't sent out again.
Gotcha.
So what are your thoughts?
I mean, maybe he just feels like the other 77 million that is incentivized to him isn't really a guarantee because he has to. I mean, he could come out week 2 of next season, tear his ACL, and then there goes 77 million.
Still got 133, third most.
Yeah, no, I see your point, and I mean, if I feel like if anyone else was in Lamar's shoes, they would take the contract. He might just have his views on it. It's a very like touchy subject because you're talking about someone's own thoughts at this point on why they feel like it's not worth them signing. So it's like it's honestly really hard to kind of discuss and just even think where is he at as far as signing.
So my thing is, go ahead.
My big thing was, and we kind of talked about this when OBJ signed, was does this change anything for Lamar? Like now that they've signed OBJ, is he going to come back because they signed him, or is he going to just still care all about the money? There's so much up in the air and he hasn't really said much recently, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Ed. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, what I was saying, back to like just about Lamar, Ed's 100% correct. Yeah, it wasn't a new contract. My apologies, I spoke wrong. But yeah, I think that Lamar just needs to get his head out of his ass. Excuse my language. But it's just at this point, it's like, bro, like you're not getting that Deshaun Watson contract, bro. It's not happening. It's never going to happen. That was just something the Browns did that was so stupid. I think the Browns are inevitably still kind of messing up the Ravens franchise in a way. You know what I mean? Just because we're with Lamar, and it's just like, bro, like the Browns are so trash that they're messing us up. You know what I mean? So
they're so and the other thing is it's not only hurting him, like the him not signing a contract is not only hurting himself because he's not putting money into his pocket. It's also hurting the team. So, like, if you truly care about playing football and, you want to be a true leader, then you also have to think about your teammates. They're out there practicing. They're out there working out together. They're all doing all that stuff. You haven't signed in anything. So, of course, you're not going to do anything because you don't want to injure yourself. So, it's just I think it's just overall just hurting the Ravens organization from top to bottom because he's not signing something that I think is pretty fair, but that's just my opinion. Like Justin said, it is like a difficult thing to talk about just because we're talking about a person's, like this is their money. But at the end of the day, he's going to sign or they're going to move on without him. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what's going to happen because they don't have to pay him.
Facts.
They don't have to, and no one else is doing the homework for the Ravens anyway. So,
yep. I think that Lamar is going to regret what he's doing right now. Kind of like this situation kind of reminds me of Le'Veon Bell back in like 2016 when I messed up. Am I back now?
You're
good.
Okay, sorry. What I was talking. Oh, okay. I thought it like froze in my end, so I thought I was frozen on y'all's end. Apologies. But I was saying this situation reminds me of 2016 with Le'Veon Bell. Remember when he was holding out against the Steelers, and then he got traded or signed somewhere else, and then his career just went downhill from there. I am deeply terrified that it's going to happen to Lamar because of one, his play style, and two, like this is the most leverage he will ever have in his career. You know what I mean? 2 years from now, he's going to be 28, 20, going on 28 or 28 years old. He's not going to have this leverage anymore. You know what I mean? So I think that he needs to understand how football changes very, very, very fucking fast, and they will move on without you fast. You know what I mean? So,
So you're saying this?
I just hope Lamar gets some real friends around him that's going to just not real. What's that?
Are you saying like this could be a downfall for Lamar if this doesn't work out?
It could be, bro. It could be
like
because
are we saying like a RG3 type situation? Like out of the league, end up back up?
No, I mean I don't think maybe that drastically.
Not out of the league, but just like
not starting, not being a leader, not what I'm saying, not getting the contract that he wanted. If he wants to go gamble, let's just say that he wants to go gamble, he goes to another team. I don't think another team's going to give him a crazy deal because they have to try him out. He goes to another team for a 2-year contract.
Yeah. One
player option after the first year or whatever, right? He doesn't do too good. They're not happy with him. Now the contract, $133 million, now they go down to 60. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't think that it will happen, but it could very well happen like Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell had that contract. He was going to be like the highest paid running back, but he wanted more. He wanted $20 million or something like that. Gets traded over to the Jets, has a horrible damn 2 years over there, and now he's out of the league. He's only 31 years old.
Yeah.
Like Le'Veon Bell is still only 31 years old. He could very well be in the league, maybe as a backup, doing something.
Yeah, third down back.
Where's he at now? He's getting knocked out in boxing.
One box knocked out.
If Lamar If Lamar plays this year with the Ravens, does he become an unrestricted free agent next year?
Next year, yeah. If
Yeah.
they don't
I mean,
sign
it
anything.
wouldn't be a bad decision to play, build your value, and then if Tua doesn't work out in Miami, go to Miami and go back home.
Anyways, all right, y'all ready to move on to the NFC South?
Hey, I'm just
Let's hit
thinking
up-
about my future. I gotta have someone just in case Tua don't work
Let-
out.
Let's hit up. Let's hit up this this NFL draft that's coming up quickly next week, man. It's coming
Yeah.
up next week. Let's talk about the first 10 picks. What do we think we're doing? So the first overall pick is for the Carolina Panthers.
Bryce
What
Young.
are they doing? What are they doing, guys?
I say Bryce Young. I think they're going Bryce Young.
I think
I also think I saw a tweet today that said he closed on all the interviews to every other team that he had with the Texans and everybody else. So I think that can only mean one thing. They're going Bryce Young first overall. So that's who I think they're going, or where they're going with the first pick for sure.
Okay, Justin, what do you think? What are they going for?
I really I feel like if it was the coach's decision, it's right. Frank Wright, right? Is
Yeah,
that his name? If it was his
Yeah.
decision, it would be Anthony Richardson because he's in love with Ant. But I feel like because of
Yeah.
ownership and GM and how obviously the business is, I think it's going to end up being CJ Stroud.
okay. So CJ Stroud and
Okay.
Bryce Young. I think that because of the reports that at first I was 50-50 between CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, but because of the reports that came out today where he canceled all his visits with everyone else because it's looking like he's going to the Panthers. I think that he's the number one overall pick. I think that he's the number one overall pick that goes in the 2023 draft to the Panthers. And we'll see how that goes. I mean, the Panthers is definitely. I think they have a decent head coach. It's just a matter of the fact what they put around him offensively for him to succeed. I don't really think they have a decent tight end. The running back situation is pretty good. Their O line is not that good. Wide receiver wise needs some work. So defensively, I think they're good. But are they going to win anything next year? Absolutely not. With the number 2 overall pick, Houston Texans. With the Houston Texans, what do you think they're doing? What are the Houston Texans? Stroud?
Yeah. Stroud for sure. They need a QB. They got, and like I think we talked about this last episode, they got an underrated 1-2 punch with Pierce and Singletary. So I think pairing CJ Stroud with that nice 1-2 back situation, it could be something a little special,
Yeah.
But yeah, but to answer your question, Stroud.
Who do you think is Stroud? Okay. Stroud. I think it's Stroud too. I think that Stroud makes sense here. They have a okay offensive line. They were very competitive last year. Their 1-2 punch is going to be really good for the Texans. And then wide receiver wise, you got to remember they have the guy from Alabama that unfortunately he was not able to play his rookie year because he was dealing with cancer, but he beat it. He was a great wide receiver at Alabama. So I think if they can add a couple more weapons on the wide receiver side, I think they could be they can do something because I think the AFC South is pretty much wide open other than the Jags. I think like the Jags are the clear favorite, but then you have the Colts and the Texans right there able to compete. You know what I'm saying? And the Titans too. Like it really is wide open. So what about you? What do you think, Justin? Is it well, you already said Bryce Stroud is going to go number 1. So
Yeah.
who's going number 2?
I'm doing the flip flop with y'all.
Okay.
I know. I mean, Bryce Young has met with the Texans already. So I mean, in the report it does talk about that he's already met with the Texans. So that's really could be that he knows he's being selected 1 or 2. Both teams have said, look.
Yeah.
We know it's down to either you or him. So he doesn't want to go after that. But yeah, I feel like Bryce Young with the Texans would be a lot better than CJ Stroud, just overall system wise, play wise. I feel like it would just be a little bit better for for him.
Okay. Interesting.
It would take. It's obviously it's going to take a little bit longer, just due to the fact of weapons around him.
Yeah.
With the OC that the Texans have, I believe he's more of a spread offensive offensive scheme. So I just feel like that would work better for Bryce Young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this and by the way, this order right now that we're going with for the top 10 picks is simply and strictly what the order is in the NFL draft. This is not bearing any trades or anything like that. Okay. So with the next pick overall that we have here is the Arizona Cardinals. So the Arizona Cardinals, obviously they have Murray as their quarterback. They paid him. They extended him last year, so they don't need a quarterback. They could easily trade down to get more draft assets and stuff like that. But do you think they should? And who are they picking? Now I'm gonna start with Justin.
I think if the Cardinals don't trade down, they're going to go Will Anderson, the edge rusher. If they do trade down, I feel like the only team that may move up would be the Colts, just to make sure that nobody else moves up. They'll give up maybe I don't know how much it even costs to move up one spot in the first round, maybe like a fourth.
What about the Colts definitely could trade up, but what about the Titans? They could also trade up as well. They don't really have a quarterback. Well, they drafted a quarterback last year, but they lost completely all trust in him apparently, and they're looking at possibly drafting another quarterback in the first round here.
So the issue I have with the Titans moving up is I feel like they're too far messed up right now. They haven't.
Okay.
They're too. I'm just gonna say they're too fucked to just go take a quarterback. He's gonna end up like Burrow the first 2 years with the Bengals, and it's gonna take more than 2 years for the Titans to fix what they got going on.
Okay, and overall,
to me, they only have Jeffrey Simmons on that team at this point.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, but I mean, he's even on the talks of getting moved at this point.
That's true. So who do you think goes? Not bearing any trades or anything like that. Who goes third overall? Is it going to be a quarterback or Will Anderson? Will Anderson's going to go third overall no matter what.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Will Anderson goes third. I don't think the Cardinals trade.
Okay. What about you, Greg? Do the Cardinals trade?
I don't see. I think they should personally. But if they don't, Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, one of the two for sure. But I think obviously seeing Jalen Carter, he has some issues, right? That the dude said quote unquote was interesting. So I don't know what those. They probably know something we don't know. But I'd say Will Anderson for sure. Okay.
I say overall, I think Will Anderson it should be a third overall pick. But if a team was going to trade, whether it's the Raiders, the Titans, or the Colts, I think the third overall quarterback that should be get drafted should be AR. No questions asked there. I think that he's better than Will Levis. But I do know that the Colts like Will Levis and the Raiders as well. So the Raiders could easily trade up and get Levis. So can the Colts. So it's the third overall pick in this draft is going to be a lot of movement because I think that it's going to be a major blockbuster trade that's going to go down. The fourth overall pick, we got the Indiana Colts picking. So I honestly don't see the Colts trading up one spot unless like you guaranteed you really want AR type B. You know what I'm saying? Like you want AR.
Yeah.
But other than that, if Will Levis goes third overall, there's no reason for you to lose picks as well. You can just pick your guy AR in fourth overall. And that's what I think they're doing. I think that the Indiana Colts will select AR in the as the fourth overall pick. What do you guys think?
Cool. Yeah, I don't see them training up 1 or 2 picks. I don't see the Texans or the Panthers giving up their 1 or 2 spot. So I say they're going AR for sure.
Okay.
That's what
Justin?
like. So AR.
So I feel like I want to say AR, and I definitely feel like AR should go to the Colts. But just for some reason, I feel like just the Colts move is going to end up being drafting Will Levis. Like they're just going to mess up and take him. I really feel like it's going to happen. There's been a little too much talk, and then right after the Colts were in town they were in town for AR's pro day, and
Mm-hmm.
then they flew straight to Kentucky for Levis's. And then there was reports like a week or two later that they went back to Kentucky.
Okay.
So I was like, maybe they're starting to trend towards Levis a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I really hope they don't. I'm hoping it's Anthony. So I'd have to say, just based off of what I've read so far, I have to go Levis, but I would wish it was AR.
Okay. Okay. And the last pick.
Fit a lot better for them.
And the last pick that we're going to talk about today is going to be the 5th overall pick that the Seattle Seahawks got from Denver after that trade for Russell Wilson. So the Seahawks is a team that was very interested in AR. I don't think that they trade. They don't really have to trade at all because they have Geno Smith that just re-signed them for a good deal. So I don't think that they trade up for a quarterback. But however, they do need work on the defensive side. And this is a spot that Jalen Carter could go. Or they could draft another cornerback. But I think their cornerback situation from last year is too good. They're both rookies. They balled out all year, so I don't think it's going to be a cornerback. And I think Jalen Carter goes. Greg, what do you think? What about you? What do you think about that 5th overall pick?
Yeah. You made a good point with, especially I think is not success with the W, but the rookie that balled out last season for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Woolen?
Yeah, for sure. I do think that I don't know why I would be surprised if they took a corner. So if they took Weatherspoon or Gonzalez, both of them boys are nice. Both of them boys are going to be top 6 picks. But yeah, Jalen Carter makes the most sense with this situation. I think indeed somebody at 2 or 3 technique that's going to lock stuff down, and that's Jalen Carter. That's going to do it for the next 5 years or so. So yeah, I said they take Carter though, for sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if they took Gonzalez or Witherspoon.
Okay. Justin.
Well, AR is still on my board, so if he's there for Seattle, I think they would take him.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. I like that. I like that.
I think Pete Carroll, there was a lot of talk about how much he liked Anthony coming out of college. When he went to the pro day and the combine, they had really good interviews. So I just feel like that would be a good spot for him. And he would learn behind Geno for at least a year.
Yeah. I think that they are going to Seattle will be beneficial for both parties. Seattle, because they already have a starting quarterback who did really good last year. And then you have AR learning from him and giving him time to be able to develop to that quarterback that the Seattle Seahawks want him to be. But that's enough for that's the top 5 picks right there. And next we will do the next. Next week is going to be straight draft because that's what we're going to be doing next week. We're going to be drafting people.
Yeah.
Is there any? Oh yeah. So let's talk about what the hell is going on over here. Let's talk about the last division. Well, let's talk about the AFC South. The AFC South. So that way we can continue with the divisions and all that. The AFC South has been seeing a lot of movement from players going here and going there and not making any sense. And we're going to start off with the Falcons. The Falcons have made a lot of defensive moves, like a lot of defensive moves. Not really anything offensively, but defensively, they have been very, very extremely active. We're going to start off with mentioning that they traded for Jeff Okudah for only a 5th round pick. What the hell are the Lions doing?
Giving away baggage.
What did you say?
Giving away free baggage.
I mean, because we're talking about Jeff Okuda. I mean, that's the same year that C.J. Henderson came out, which has been like what 3 years already. But Jeff Okuda, I mean, he had a
Yeah.
decent a year last year, and for you to trade him away for a fifth, that is insane. He was like the third overall, fourth overall pick, and you traded him away for a fifth. It's insane. Um, they re-signed Mike Hughes for a 2 year, $7 million contract. Um, they signed Caleb. Oh, that's a tight right tackle. What's going on? Oh, David Onyemata. They gave him a 3 year, $35 million contract. Jesse Bates signed a 4 year, $64 million contract. They also signed, who's the other guy? They also signed another tight end, which made no sense for me because you already have Kyle Pitts, but they signed another tight end for a decent deal. And I'm just like, what the heck is going on? Cornell Armstrong,
Yeah.
another 1 year contract. And Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell over to the Falcons, which is, I mean, this dude is like a dinosaur, man. He's like 38 years old, still balling out after 2 year stint with the Ravens. So, what do you think about the Falcons move this far?
Talking about the Falcons, I think that they're such a great team. Let's start with the quarterback.
Yeah,
And that's the name.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think? Desmond Riddler, I think this is his last shot this upcoming year. You know, I hope he balls out. I hope he does his thing. But I think they're going to give Riddler one more chance for a year as a starter. I think I do kind of agree. I disagree with you, Ed, with the fact that they signed that one tight end. I forgot his name too, but I know that he's a lot better at blocking than he is at receiving. I think what they're going to try to do probably is have him block more at tight end, especially at run plays and stuff like that. And then line up Kyle Pitts outside and kind of try to – Falcons probably going to try to use Pitts like they should have been doing, like the way he was being used at Florida, lining up out wide, lining up in the slot, lining up in those bunch formations, more receiver, and then, you know, having that other tight end be the traditional tight end that always, you know what I mean, is going to get the job done. It hurt to see Calais Campbell go as a Ravens fan because I love Calais. I think that he was – I think he was still producing even at his age, especially. But, yeah, I think that the Falcons have a chance to make the playoffs in that weak division. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it or if they won the division just because the Bucks are just disgusting. We'll get to them in a little bit, but, yeah.
The Bucks are the Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks being the Bucks. And going back to being the Bucks. But like I said, just finishing up with the Falcons, I think that they're going to give Riddler one more chance. This is his last chance to do something. If not, they're going to move on to somebody else next year. And I think Drake London's going to take another step and have a great, especially because I got him on my fantasy team. Holding on to him for the long run. He's so underrated. I think as well. So that's my thoughts. You know, Jay Blake, want to go ahead and say your thoughts on the Falcons?
Yeah, I feel like they loaded up defensively, and they're gonna they're kind of giving is it Ritter his last name?
Riddler. Yeah,
I feel like they're just kind of giving
Riddler.
him like no excuses now. They've got weapons around him. They've got a decent running back. You've got London and Pitts to throw to. The defense is vamped up, so it's really this is his time to show if he's a starting quarterback or not.
Okay. So let's move on. That's enough about the Falcons defensively. They'll be good. We'll see offensively, right? Let's go over to the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers potentially getting Bryce Young overall, first overall pick. But in the free agency world, I have never in my life have seen a kicker get traded. But it got traded. It happened. So we got Zane Gonzalez. He got traded to San Francisco from Carolina for a seventh round pick in the 2025 draft. Okay. Anyways, other than that, they signed a kicker. They signed Adam Thielen. That was like the major news. A 3 year, $25 million contract. They also signed DJ Shark for only 1 year, $5 million contract. which is very, very good. And then defensively, and then they also added Jaden Hurst for a 3-year deal, $21 million, $22 million contract. So they got Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, and Jaden Hurst over at tight end. So I think that if Bryce Young goes there, he will have decent enough weapons to do something, to at least show that there is potential for the Carolina Panthers, right? And they also signed Andy Dalton for like a backup role of 2 years, $10 million at that quarterback position.
Trash.
I'm looking at he is a bum, but it is what it is, right? And then not to mention that they traded away DJ Moore. They traded him to Chicago, and back they got the 2024 first round pick, a 2025 second round pick. So they have potential to be something special in the next couple of years. What do you think they're going to be at? Will they win this? It's a wide open division. Will they win it? Will they come second? Will they come third, fourth? Will they just not win anything? Justin.
Go ahead, Justin. I'm sorry. You got it first.
Oh, all right. I honestly feel like they're probably going to end up second in the division. I don't really see a rookie quarterback winning the division. Not saying it can't happen. I just feel like with the Panthers roster, it's not capable. This is a division that it is possible, but I really feel like they're going to have their flaws. They signed some good defensive veterans as well, and Gruger Hill, the outside linebacker, and then they also brought in Eric Rowe. So I think that'll be good for their hybrid system that they run. Because both of those guys I'm actually pretty familiar with because they both played in Miami at one point, and they're both like to the ball players, very fast, very physical. So I think that'll be good for them. I don't know too much about their offensive line, so I feel like that'll be the big thing for them if they can protect whoever they draft.
Greg?
Yeah, I agree with you there with the last thing you said, Jay, but with the fact that the offensive line has to be a question mark. I think they finish – I think their ceiling is finishing second in the division. I don't see them winning it. I don't see them being a playoff team whatsoever, but I do think their ceiling is a second just because they added some really key weapons. They're going to have a veteran out there, right receiver, with the right receiver group with Thielen. I forgot who else you said they signed on offense. Hurst. Was it Hayden Hurst?
Yeah. Hayden Hurst and DJ Chark.
Yeah. DJ Chark, okay. So they got a speedster in DJ, and then Hayden Hurst is kind of experienced. I think this is his third team. He was with us. When I say us, the Ravens, about 4 years ago, and bounced over to Cincinnati for a couple years or a year or so, and then now obviously he's in Carolina. So gonna have some experience, a few different systems, and I think that he'll be a good kind of safety blanket for Bryce Young going in there, especially between him and Thielen. I think they'll be good little safety blankets for him. But yeah, I still think the offensive line is a big question mark, but it'd be kind of fun to see them play, especially with Bryce Young entering the league, and we all know who he is. So I'm excited to watch them play, but I don't think they'll finish higher than second, in their division. So.
Okay. All right. And let's move on to the team that I hate the damn most. Well, second most. The team I hate the most is the Cowboys. But the team that I second hate the most is the damn New Orleans, however you freaking say it, Saints. I can't stand them, people. I can't. It's not that I can't stand the fans. The fans are very passionate. I like them, but I hate the team. I hate how they run it. It doesn't make any sense to me how every single damn year, and pardon my language, every single damn year they're always negative $100 million in cap. And every single year they find a way to be $50 million available and sign players. It doesn't make any sense to me. How do you do it?
Cap doesn't exist anymore, bro.
It doesn't exist. So I don't want to hear no one else bitching and I want everyone else doing the same exact thing. that the Saints are doing. I can't stand them for personal reasons because I was a Vikings fan, but I really do not stand them in the free agency. And Obed always be tagging me whenever they sign somebody to try to get out, get me to get pissed. And I just push it off, man. I brush it off and just let it be. But I cannot stand the Saints, man. Every single year is the same bullshit. Negative $80 million in cap space. Next day, already $30 million is cleared. How the hell?
Yeah.
What do these players be signing? Do they not read the contracts?
Right.
I'm genuinely asking. Like, I just don't understand. Every single year they have some type of contract play. Oh, we're just gonna convert the salary to this because you assigned this. How?
Yeah.
How? I don't know. But let's get on to it, right? Let's talk about the Saints. The freaking Saints, man. The freaking Saints. So they signed Jonathan Abram to a $1 million $1 million contract. Jonathan Abram was a first round safety picked by the Raiders. He was a really good safety from Mississippi State. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was a freaking
Yeah, I do.
Hard hitter, man.
He was a dog.
Yeah, dog, man. It didn't really turn out well over there, but it is what look. Andres Pete is a guard, converted $4 million of his contract into a bonus, reducing the rest down to 1.5. So they already cleared 4. They signed Kalen Saunders as a D tackle for 3 years, $12 million. I don't really know too much about him. They re-signed Winston to a 1 year, $4 million. This is the steal right here, which I don't know what people be signing. Jamal Williams, 3 years, $12 million. I genuinely don't get it, man. I don't get it. Why? His contract was way more wherever he was at. No, I'm going to go over here. Whatever. Michael Thomas. Oh, Nathan Shepard, 3 year, $15 million contract. Michael Thomas. He signed a 1 year, $10 million reconstructed contract extension with New Orleans that freed another 5. Cameron Jordan converted $12.2 million to a roster bonus, clearing $10 million. We're at 19. Alvin Kamara converted 8.30. So this is what I'm talking about, man. What do these players be signing? I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. The big signing from the Saints, and I think that I actually like, is Derek Carr. Derek Carr going over to the Saints. Yeah. I think it's a good addition. They have the offensive firepower. I'm going to move on from all the hate. All right? Saints, don't hate me. But I think that Derek Carr is a good signing for them. Derek Carr never got the true chance with the Raiders. Every single year was a different OC, and then he got injured and he was never really the same. But I think that if Derek Carr goes over to the Saints with Michael Thomas, with Chris Olave, with Jamal Williams, with Alvin Kamara, if pending all his allegations, if he goes over there, they can be a very dangerous team, and that could be, I think, and I have them winning the NFC South because there's just too much firepower on that offensive side of the ball for them not to do anything, because the Saints' defense is always Saints' defense. They're always a decent group. So if they can get that offensive going, I think that they win the division. What do you think about that Derek Carr signature to the Saints, Greg?
Yeah. First, I'm going to touch on the Derek Carr signing, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the Saints. I think that the Derek Carr signing makes sense. Derek Carr can kind of revive his career. I always thought Oakland was not a good place for him. So to see him go to a place where you have some weapons and getting a fresh start, new coach, new system, new city, obviously new everything, you know what I mean? I think that's a good thing for him. I do agree with you. I don't know if they got Illuminati in that front office. I don't know how they're getting all these people signed for. Yeah, especially that Jamal Williams signed for 3 years for $5 million. No, I'm joking. You know what I mean? But that crazy contract. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think they got some weapons. I think that Alvin Kamara's gonna beat that charge. You know how that stuff kind of goes. Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams is a pretty underrated, running back duo. I would like to retract my statement earlier when I said that the Falcons were going to win the division. I was lying like hell. But I think with Slant Man, with Chris Olave, who is going to make a really big jump in year 2 in his career. The running back duo, like I just said, there's some weapons for Derek Carr down there in New Orleans. I think he'll do well there, and the defense is going to just be the defense. I think they end up winning the division easily. No questions asked, especially with the Bucs out the way now. And, I hope Derek Carr has a really good season. So all I got to say about them.
Jay Butt?
I just don't like the Saints. I'll keep it short and sweet. I don't like them. I'm not going to rant like Ed did. But I think they are the division favorites with the Carr signing. Olave coming back after having an amazing rookie year. I don't know why we're still giving Slant Man credit. Like that man hasn't been Michael Thomas for like 3-4 years now. So I really don't even, he's really not, to me, he's really not anything too crazy to worry about. And if he does play, how long is he going to stay on the field before he gets hurt?
That's facts. This is facts. I mean, Justin is saying facts, and I'm dropping my phone over here. Okay, so that's enough. You don't like the Saints.
Yeah, I don't.
Justin don't like the Saints. And then we go to the last team overall in the NFC South with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hallelujah, they're back to being trash. I couldn't stand it anymore. They're not a team that – it's not that I don't like them. It's just the fact that these fans came out of absolutely nowhere once Tom Brady signed. They got
everyone's a Tampa fan.
And they started twerking for them. You know what I'm saying? They started twerking like crazy on the timeline, and I can't stand it. But now that Tom Brady is retired and Gronkowski is gone and everybody's gone, there's not really much going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They signed Chase Edmonds for a $1.2 million contract. They released Cameron Brate, who's like 40,000 years old. They signed a strong safety for 1.2. They released Leonard Fournette. Levante David signed a $4.5 million contract. They signed Baker Mayfield for $4 million, which is kind of like the biggest news for them. They traded Shaq Mason over to Houston.
They're going to be asked.
I mean, like I'm looking at this, and this is absolutely god awful. And then now I saw that the what's the other guy, the young linebacker that played for LSU, he's really good. Man, I forgot his name. But
Devin White.
Devin freaking White. Devin White just asked for a trade. He wants to be traded away from the Buccaneers. I think that came out 2 days ago. So we're talking about a Buccaneers team that offensively have nobody, and defensively everybody's getting old. And the one piece that was actually very talented in Devin White, he is asking for a trade. So I think the Buccaneers will be the 4th overall in that division. I think the Saints will win it. I think 2 will be the Panthers. 3 will be the Falcons. Well, 2 and 3 can be toss-up. I think 2 and 3 is going to either be the Panthers or the Falcons, and 4th overall is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, not much to say about the Bucs
at all.
I think they secured the number 1 overall pick for next year. I think that Devin White is saving his career, especially the linebacker position is basically the running back position of the defense in terms of the longevity, in terms of careers. So you got to get on this, go to a good spot and get a good contract while you can. Hopefully Devin White can go to a spot and earn some money and play some good football for real. He's a baller. We all know that. We all saw him at LSU. We all saw him in his first couple of years in the league. Nothing to say about that. I just hope that Trask can get some PT and can ball out. Hopefully he does something there. Wins the QB competition. I forgot who else they signed at QB.
Baker.
I hope he beats out Baker. I hope he beats out Baker Mayfield. I hope that he gets a chance, an opportunity to ball out, especially with Mike Evans still kind of being there. You know, hopefully he can do something.
Is this year 3 for Trask?
Yeah, because he came in 21, 20. Yeah, this is his third year. Yeah.
I
So
feel like
he's been behind Brady for a couple of years. Hopefully he gets to do something.
Same
I feel
year
like
as Pitts, so.
if it's a competitive
Yeah.
off season, you have to give the guy that's been there longer, that knows the playbook like the back of his hand.
Then make
If it's a competitive battle.
Teams. Yeah, I got you.
Yep.
I think that's enough.
It's not like it's a star quarterback coming in. It's Baker fucking Mayfield. That man is trash.
Buns. Absolutely buns. But I think that's enough of talk for today in football, man. Greg, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, for sure. You guys know we love you, appreciate you. If you think some of our takes are stupid, if you think we just said something completely wrong, leave a comment. We're always open for discussion. Like I said, follow us everywhere: TikTok, Instagram. I almost said Facebook, Twitter at 352 Blitz. All word, especially on YouTube as well. Subscribe to us. We want to keep being consistent for you guys, and we appreciate you guys to stick with us through the rebrand. We're trying to make this consistent. Everybody, if you guys can give just a quick prayer or send some good thoughts and some love to Omar. Hopefully he gets better and does his thing. You know what I mean? But like I said, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Like I said, sub to us and everything. Follow us everywhere. And we will catch you guys next week, next Monday, 8:30 Eastern PM. Same place, same time. Appreciate you guys.
Take it easy. Care.